Well, good morning, community Baptisters and lurkers, and say hi to Carson.
Hello.
Carson's right there. One of our graduates, yet another one of our graduates. We're hoping to get all of our graduates interviewed. So for our folks to be able to visit with you a little bit, because we haven't been able to visit in person. So we're trying to do as much visiting in digital life as possible.
Oh,
Digital visiting. I should coin that phrase. You like that?
shit.
Digital visiting?
Yeah.
Digital fellowship? Yeah, never mind. It's not that good. All right. As usual, we start off with our Bible verse of the day. So here's our Bible verse of the day, which is Colossians 3:23. Now, usually I make my guests give me the Bible verse, but because of the graduates, I'm giving them all a Bible verse. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Masters sounds a little harsh, but that's the attitude we need to have. So whatever we're doing, we do it to the best of our ability, serving the Lord in our ministry and our gifting. So that's Colossians 3:23. So tell us what you're doing with these days. I know you've been off because of the pandemic and whatnot, but tell us about your graduation degree and then your graduation system. Oh, I just answered the phone instead of hanging up. Sorry. Call you later, Bill. There, I just yelled at her. Go ahead, Carson.
Okay. So like what my program was and stuff?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So my program was very short. It was only 2 years, which was very nice. So a couple of years ago, I moved to Edmonton, and it's a program at MacEwan University. It's their theater arts program.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very, very condensed musical theater acting program. So singing, dancing, acting all day long, classes 6 days a week.
Okay, so you started in Regina, didn't you, with some courses too there, or how was that not associated with that?
That was a different program, and I did that one. I finished that right before I started this one, so I went right from that program into this one.
So wait a minute, you graduated from that program and then graduated from this one?
Yeah.
You're a triple graduate now.
Yes. I am.
Did we say congratulations to you 2 years ago when you?
I think so. I'm very proud.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, very, very positive. There was a graduation thing. It was nice. It was very nice.
Very good. Okay, so now this degree again. Say the name of the degree now.
So it's a theater arts diploma. So it's not technically a degree, but program. Yeah.
Diploma. Yeah, fair enough. Hey, any education that people graduate from is awesome.
Thanks.
So now, theater arts education. Now, were you able to actually finish the course? Because, being in theater arts, you're going to be doing things in big group settings and stuff that have all been banned. So how did that end up working out?
Well, that was definitely like the hardest part, and definitely I think one of the like school programs that was hit the hardest, like any sort of like hands-on one. And especially because a lot of our stuff is together, like you're at least with your class, which is our class was 24 people every day. And so like we have pretty much every single class together, if not just like with half of you, and then you see the other half in the next class. Right. So we were actually like the day we found out everything was canceled, we were doing our like last rehearsal for our last show of our year.
Okay.
Which is Legally Blonde musical. It was this big musical. And we were in the rehearsal hall, and we had known that we had been told a couple days before that the show, we would only be able to do like 2 performances. Right. And like at like half capacity or something like that. And then that day we were like in the midst of rehearsing a scene, and the director like went out of the room with the stage manager and a few other people. They came back and they told us the entire thing was canceled. So we were just going to like finish that day of rehearsals. So they like called the costume department and the set department and stuff, and they brought up basically everything they could that was ready for the show.
Oh, okay.
And we did the show in the rehearsal hall with like 1 costume each, a bunch of like kind of props, some set stuff, just for like all the other faculty that were in the building and all the other students that were in the program, in the tech program and stuff, and like some of our first year students.
So yeah, that's your big production for the year, right?
Yeah.
Now, was that still in March or was that April?
That was March. March.
Okay, so but school would have normally ended when?
We would have been done, I think, like April 15th. So after that, we did do some online classes. Mostly, it was just like.
But that was still. So you actually sort of got it in then.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We got like pretty much everything in, for the most part. Yeah.
So So like you perform. The tech guys are doing their thing. All the actors and costumes and stagehand guys are all doing and they're all getting graded. How does that work?
Yeah, basically
Okay.
like, yeah, we just all get graded on the process. And then like within the classes, it's also like the work you're doing. We don't have a lot of written assignments for the most part. It's usually like, uh, just more so like assignments that we do, or tests on different things.
Right. Cool. All right. So I guess would you say that other than the fact that you didn't get to do your in front of how many people would show up for those things? A couple hundred people at least. And
Yeah.
you didn't get a chance to do that. You pretty much got everything in then.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
Like they had to do a lot of like bending or like, this will count for this as well.
Oh yeah.
Like we had like a last assignment pretty much for like every class that we had to do. That was basically one big final assignment. So
Right. Oh, cool. Well, I guess that's good then. You managed to
yeah.
get most of it in. And then, of course, then did you end up coming home then right away, or did you stay in Edmonton for a while? Or I know you're home now.
Yeah, I stayed in Edmonton for a while. And I know there was a lot of concern, like just from my family and stuff about like the borders closing because Alberta was doing a lot worse than Saskatchewan was, right off the hop. But I was staying there, to finish classes, but I did come home. I actually think it was what would have been like the second last week of the program.
Okay.
I came home, and so I did like my very last assignment here.
Oh, okay.
Actually recorded it at the church.
That's right too. I remember you guys were in the basement.
Yeah,
Good.
in the basement. And then I went back to Edmonton for a bit because I still have like my apartment there, so there's mail and just like stuff like that to deal with. Yeah. And then it's sort of been back and forth on like a 3-week basis every place.
Yeah, no, it's obviously things are loosening up now, which is great, but it's been problematic across the board. So I'm glad to hear that you got most of the stuff in, because I mean, it would have been disappointing to at least not even have a performance, but you did do the performance, so that's good to hear. Yeah. And were you just acting in that one, or did you also have other responsibilities?
No, just acting.
Okay. So you're a thespian.
I am. Very much so.
So what is that? So now do you start looking for jobs as a drama teacher, or do you look for jobs in actually acting and for TV and movies or theater? What does that look like?
Well, the program, like they try to help you a lot, like getting out of the program itself. So it's hard because this year was obviously an exception, but there's this program in Alberta called Emerge, which is put on by this larger Alberta theater, group that sort of like manages all the like postings for shows through all the theater companies in Alberta.
So this is mostly theater then that you're looking at?
Mostly,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But so so every year there's this thing called Emerge where all the graduates from all the theater programs in Alberta get to audition for all the theater companies in Alberta.
Gotcha.
So all the like heads of the companies show up and you do an audition in front of them, and they basically pick from all the schools who they like. So do you
give them an 8x11 glossy?
We send it digitally, but yes, yes, we do. We do send them that.
Good.
And
so obviously that's not happening, right? So the school's going to sort of do that digitally for you guys.
Yeah. Okay. So they're trying to figure out a way to do it digitally right now. So I imagine we'll all have to make videos and send them in.
But theater's got that whole live element, right? So yeah. So it's kind of important to have the live thing, right? So now maybe they can do it like we're doing today, and hopefully with less technical issues like I had.
Maybe, you never know. Okay. So,
yeah.
And then just various auditions that have popped up. There's like an audition email list for the Canadian Actors Union. So like just ones that pop up on that for like the Winnipeg Young People's Company, like stuff like that you can submit for, because everyone's had to convert to online submissions, which is kind of helpful, because if they don't normally do that, then you'd kind of be out of luck. But now they're having to make exceptions. And
the odd, it's not odd. It's hurtful. The hurtful thing about theater is that it needs that theater is based completely on live experiences. So that's hopefully that gets mitigated briefly, and that things get dealt with. But wow, that's the one niche of acting that you cannot do right now.
Yeah.
But drama schools, teachers are still needed, and productions will be needed hopefully in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that sort of, does that leave it a little bit of a fear factor in your brain, or are you just saying, yeah, we'll deal?
Yeah, it's more so like we'll figure it out. No one in the like community wants it to stop.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Yeah.
everyone's going to find a way to make it happen, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's just going to like even more smaller projects maybe, which I don't think it's like a bad idea by any stretch. So
Yeah.
I think it'll happen.
Yeah, and the good news is like movie theaters, I think are starting to open again, and I know that people sitting passively is really not really a risk. So hopefully they can figure that out. And as long as you do not too good of a job and make people laugh and scream too much when you're acting, you can maybe we promise not to be funny. Yeah, that's good. That's a tricky one.
Subpar is what we promise. Yeah.
Oh really? Yeah. All right. Well, hey, God bless you. And thanks for sharing with us. And I know our church folks have been wondering what's been going on. So and I know that probably right now you're just playing it by ear, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, anyways, break a leg.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if that applies to career choices, but I guess it does. Sure, it does.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much, Carson. God bless.
Thank you.